Yes,
Okay.
we are. We're time.
It is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, and I will call this regular City Council meeting to order. I do want to thank the individual who's joining us in the audience this evening, and if Mayor Pro Tem would lead us in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Peretti has asked to be excused this evening.
Move to excuse.
Second. It's been moved by Councilmember Whalen and seconded by Councilmember Hall to excuse Councilmember Peretti this evening. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 6-0. And then just to note for staff, we have Director Madden, Interim Director Robeck, Chief Hernandez, and City Clerk Tricia Summers. Moving on to citizen participation. The purpose of the public comment period at this meeting is for those wishing to address the council on any matter. It's not intended for debate and discussion with the public. Please be sure to state your name and city for the record, and I kindly remind you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. And we have Susan Johnson.
Susan Johnson, Milton. I like the resolutions you're doing tonight. It's going to help a lot, I think, in the city. Excuse my voice. We've had predatory salesmen coming to doors on our seniors. And I did report it to the city, and they were going, the finance, and they're sending a letter to the organization. They're not endorsed in Milton for their permitting. I don't know if, I think they were state endorsed, but I was with a senior and the man was there at 9 o'clock at night trying to get her to sign to have a new roof. So I don't know if there's a way, and I haven't, do we show the permits online, the endorsement? I know I saw the permits, but I don't know if that's the state permit versus also the sort of endorsement for the city of Milton, which is, what, 150 or something, I don't know. But it is a concern, and so I'm encouraging people to put up no solicitation, and I think it gives you a little bit more, Chief, if you can later maybe. The other thing is home occupations. I've had several people calling me about home occupations that they think are outside the realm of allowed home occupations. When we look at the code, vehicle repair places are not allowed in the city in a residential area of any type, and that is happening in the city. And several people called me on it, so I told them I would bring it. And when we look at the rules of MMC 17.08.380, it's showing what the business licenses are required. The one facility has like a parking lot. So we're not just talking about easements. We're talking an actual home occupation that is not allowed by our code. So I don't know how we can actually, the police are busy, planning is overworked, you know, with things they need to do. But the permitting, is there a way that we see the businesses online, but do we see the permitting going on? So maybe somebody has filed for a permit or they're not going to, but there's several incidences in the city that are like that. So I told the people I'd bring it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Just in case you leave, Ms. Johnson, before the end of the meeting, I'll just note for the record that on our website, we have a list of all businesses that have endorsements. And then you can also go to Washington State and see a business's endorsement. But the rest of it we'll follow up with later. Council, are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Kind of a motion to pass?
Make a motion to pass the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Strader and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker to pass the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 6-0. Council, we have 3 action items tonight. The first one is on page 29 of the packet. It is an ordinance 2119-25, amending Milton Municipal Code 2.32. I'm going to turn the floor over to Chief Hernandez, and then following his review, I will need a motion to open up the floor.
Good evening, council. Again, this is being brought back to you. This is regarding the addition of the Assistant Chief of Police position being added into Chapter 2.32 and regarding the Civil Service Commission, and it's just simply acknowledging that we have the position as an exempt position, and so I'm bringing it back tonight.
Councilmember Whalen?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Tony. I'm glad nothing's changed on this, and I appreciate you bringing it forward, and this is the second reading, and I support it.
Councilmember Whalen, did you want to make the motion to open up the floor?
I will. Excuse me. Move to approve ordinance 2119-25 as presented.
Second.
Been moved by Councilmember Whalen and seconded by Councilmember Strader to approve ordinance 2119-25 as presented. Councilmember Whalen, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, but I think it'll be a great benefit to the department and the staff.
Okay. Councilmember Strader?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? It is an action item. Are there any comments from the audience? Okay. It's been moved by Councilmember Whalen and seconded by Councilmember Strader to approve ordinance 2119-25 as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 6-0. The next item on tonight's agenda is on page 33 of the packet. It is ordinance 2120-25, amending Milton Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04. I'm going to turn the floor over to Interim Director Robeck, and then following her review, I will need a motion.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. RCW requires all cities and towns with general business licensing requirements to adopt a uniform model ordinance establishing a minimum dollar threshold below which businesses that engage in business within the city but are not physically located within the city must be partially or fully exempted from licensing requirements. This threshold for out-of-city businesses was recently increased from 2,000 to 4,000 in the uniform model ordinance, requiring the Milton Code to be updated as well. The complete list of required changes is included in the Exhibit A, City Business License Model Ordinance. In addition to making these required updates, staff is also proposing changes to MMC Chapter 5.04 to enhance enforcement of business license regulations in the city. The addition of Section 5.04.075, Inspections Right of Entry, is recommended to improve the city's ability to inspect licensed business areas. I do want to note that Planning Manager Stallnecker made a slight change to this section, kind of restricted it a little bit more based on comments from the study session. The amendment to Section 5.04.220, criminal penalty, is proposed to provide a penalty alternative to a misdemeanor for violations of business license standards. And this ordinance was presented at the study session on August 11th for first reading.
Councilmember Cedar?
Move to adopt ordinance 2120-25, amending Chapter 5.04 of the Milton Municipal Code relating to business licenses.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Cedar and seconded by Councilmember Strader to adopt ordinance 2120-25, amending Chapter 5.04 of the Milton Municipal Code relating to business licenses. Councilmember Cedar, did you want to speak to your motion?
Yeah, I appreciate the changes here. I am a fan of tying things to the CPI, so I like that. And I also like the right of entry adjustments that were made. I think this looks good. So I support this.
Councilmember Strader?
Ditto.
Councilmember Whalen?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and glad to see this. But in conjunction with some of the things that I've heard and have experienced, I've had people come to my door that want to do work, yard work, housework, roofs, so forth. Do they require a license to solicit? Do they require a license to solicit?
Our code requires a business license, but not a special license to solicit door to door. But we do require them to get a Milton business license or Milton endorsement.
So if someone comes to my door soliciting business, most likely, unless yard work, housework, whatever, and so forth, they have to have a license on hand to show me that they're legitimate in the city of Milton when they knock on my door?
I'd have to review the code for sure, but it's my understanding that yes, we changed it a few years ago that required the door-to-door to have Milton business licenses. And I thought that the code also specifically stated for door-to-door that they must be able to present that license if asked.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to be sure that if we change this or adjust this, that it clearly represents that requirement that's needed to be executed or shown to the general public, that they are legitimately allowed by the city of Milton to step on my property, which I can put a no soliciting sign up, which a lot of people can't even read the English. But I just wanted to be sure before I vote positively on this, that they are required to have a Milton business license or permit to do business in the city of Milton before they even step on my property. So without knowing that, and I looked through this, and if somebody else can clearly state to me where that is in this code, I'll go along with it. But I didn't see it. So somebody help me with that.
Councilmember Cedar, are you typing away over there looking it up by any chance? Okay, sweet. And Chief's looking too. Okay.
Business license.
While we're looking that up, is there any other questions, comments? Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. No, I just was going to say I'm glad that they had listened to Councilmember Cedar and had taken out the right of entry. That seemed a little aggressive to me, and so I'm glad that's taken. I'm in total agreement with this, but especially now since that verbiage was changed.
Okay. Councilmember Strader.
Chief Hernandez, didn't we have that language when we had the Green River ordinance? And was that language in that ordinance? And did that not get transferred into this?
Into the massage parlor?
Pardon?
Into the massage parlor?
Yeah. Or is there someplace
We're
else
not
in our
on that
code
agenda
that
item yet.
addresses that issue?
This is not the massage parlor, right? We're not on this.
No.
Oh, business
Next slide.
licenses.
This is business.
Yeah. We're not quite there yet.
So we were.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the answer to that. You said something about.
We'll just strike Councilmember Strader's question because it's not relevant to this ordinance. He was asking a question that is relevant to the next ordinance, not this one.
Well, I thought Councilmember Whalen's question was whether or not this allowed for solicitors to come onto their property without their license in hand.
Yes, but I'm sorry, I thought you were asking about massage parlors.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, that's the word you use, so I apologize.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Sorry, no. I meant the Green River ordinance that used to require that vendors had to have their license on their person.
And I believe that is still in the business license section as well, the Green River ordinance, or at least reference to it. But the Chapter 5, business licenses, it does state it is unlawful for any transient merchant, peddler, or street seller to transact business as such within the city without first obtaining a general business license pursuant to the provision of Chapter 5.04. And then 5.20.090 states that every licensee shall have in his possession the license or a copy of the same as issued to him. Soliciting and peddling shall take place during reasonable hours, and the city license officer can limit the hours if complaints are received at City Hall.
Councilmember Whalen?
Well, what I was asking for, is there anything in this document, which I really haven't studied everything, that even references that requirement?
And so this particular ordinance is only modifying the sections of chapter 5.04 for business licenses. Actually, those items that I just read are in chapter 5.20, peddlers and transient merchants. So that's why this ordinance doesn't I guess, affect that section of the code, because this is just this section of the code, and this doesn't apply to, or there's a different section of the code that applies to peddlers and transient merchants.
But there's no reference in this that you must abide by that code section to even solicit for or knock on somebody's door.
Not, yeah, it's all part of chapter 5, but it's not part of chapter 5.04, which this.
5.40, does it refer to other sections of a code that are required to have?
I don't believe that 5.04 refers to other sections of the code. Let's see. Because the peddlers and transient merchants were covered in another section of the code.
Are there any other questions from council? Councilmember Whalen?
Well, I do see the exemptions noted here in 5.04.040. Should that not, at least something in here, acknowledge the fact that other than what's defined in the exemptions for a licensed somebody going around, it just seems a little shallow. It just seems a little bit.
Councilmember Cedar?
Councilmember Whalen, we're only amending these 3 sections, but the remainders are still in the code. This isn't the complete chapter.
I understand that.
Well, there's no way, we're not amending the other sections, so why would they appear here?
Somewhere in this code, it should reference to where the other sections are that protect the general public from.
It does in chapter 5. That's not what we're working on tonight. We're only amending 3 specific sections of chapter 5 with this ordinance.
Yes. But if it's somewhere else in the code that needs to be referenced, it should announce to where that reference would be in the code without having to go through the entire code to read that. That's all I'm saying.
But based on that logic, every single section would have to reference back to every other section. We're not amending anything else, so the only ones before us are these 3. This isn't even the complete 5.04. It's only 3 little sections of it. So I don't know what you're asking, because everything else is still in there. So I appreciate the question. I think it's been answered. I'm happy to, just cede everything else, and I'll call for the vote if I think we need to.
And my feeling is that there should just be reference to other sections of the code that may have prohibiting what the action may be taken at the presence of the homeowner.
Okay.
A reference to it.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes, we all understand that, and it's been noted. But we're going to move forward because we did get a call for the vote. I do have to, though, ask, because it is an action item, are there any comments from the audience? Susan Johnson. Hang on, she's going to set your timer. Give me a second. Unless you can promise me you're definitely going to be under 3 minutes.
No, I can't. No.
Make sure you state your name and city again.
Say what?
Make sure you state your name and city.
Susan Johnson, Milton, Washington. I think it's really important we do something about these businesses that are coming into Milton, because there have been many times I've asked them to show their permit, show their endorsement, and they don't have it. Oh, so-and-so up on the street has it. I know it's low priority on the things that happen that are more severe in our city, but I'm looking at the seniors. They are predatory at going after seniors, as it's happening with many other activities as well in the city. And I don't know how we do it unless we have a training session with people. You put no trespassing, you put, and the question I have, if it says no solicitation, what power does that give a citizen if somebody comes onto their property and you told them no? You said, do you have your permit? Do you have your endorsement? But again, when they're in with a senior, and it's 2 people I know essentially that it happened to, and a couple others that they tried, we have to do something. And I think this is a way to start the whole section. The Green River Ordinance is how do we let people know that that's a valid part of our ordinance, and you gotta be careful. So maybe in the senior center or something, or get it out on the news, because they are coming through, hitting the streets. And, but that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Cedar.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. In 2021, just looking back at my notes, in 2021, we passed possession of license required for anyone that goes door to door. Like, it's there. And I appreciate that door-to-door salespeople are predatory, but we have the tools in place now. This actually adds more teeth because it includes an enforcement mechanism. We're only doing more and more. So I just want to be real clear to anyone that's watching, we are doing a lot, and this is part of it.
Councilmember Whalen.
In doing a lot, we could reference that, as you just said, Tim, that this section of code must be abided by. Without reference back and forth, people don't even know where to look, and we don't even know where to tell them to look without it being referenced.
In the business license section 5.04, there is a reference under posting 5.04.070B. It does state, and this is in the 5.04 that we're amending tonight. This isn't part of the amendment, but it does state that every transient merchant or peddler shall have in his or her possession at all times.
Sorry, the noise.
Oh, sorry.
We got it, Bob. It was an error. We've got it.
Every transient merchant or peddler shall have in his or her possession at all times while conducting business as such the license issued pursuant to this chapter. So this section of the code doesn't specifically reference 5.20 peddlers, but it does state that merchants and peddlers do need to have a business license in the business license section of the code.
Why wouldn't this section reference the exact location of what else is required? It's minus that direction. So I just find it to be an opportunity to help others go to where they need to make sure that they're legitimate. I'm not going to support this tonight for that particular reason, but it just needs a reference to what constitutes your opportunity to actually advance a customer in the city of Milton. Where is that safeguard? It just doesn't reference it. So I can't support it.
Okay. So it's been moved by Councilmember Cedar and seconded by Councilmember Strader to adopt ordinance 2120-25, amending chapter 5.04 of the Milton Municipal Code relating to business license. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Carried 5-1. Moving on to our third and final agenda item this evening. It's on page 45 of your packet. It is ordinance 2121-25, adding chapter 5.10 to the Milton Municipal Code This originally was going to be presented by Planning Manager Stallnecker, but in her absence, Chief Hernandez will provide a view of this agenda item. And then following his review, I will need a motion to open up the floor.
Good evening, council. This has been brought back to you again tonight. We're looking for action. And this is regarding regulation of massage parlors and code compliance. This has been an ongoing issue, and so the city, we've been trying to figure out how to deal with these illicit massage parlors that seem to come and go in and out of our city. And so we've had a lot of meetings. Angela Stallmaker of Community Development, we have gotten together with Lakewood, we've gotten together with our attorneys, we've talked to other jurisdictions about how they've handled these things. And so we didn't reinvent the wheel. This is very similar to Lakewood's code, and so we're asking council to take action on it tonight. The most specific things that we're really trying to focus is drugs and alcohol, unlicensed practitioners. People go into these massage parlors assuming that these are licensed practitioners, and in fact, they're not. Unaccompanied minors under the age of 18, prostitution, being disrobed, and unsupervised premises. So we have found that this code, talking with our attorneys and the other jurisdictions, seems to be the most encompassing to allow us to be able to conduct inspections of these facilities and make sure that they're in compliance. And then when we find out that they are not in compliance, to be able to shut them down. So we're asking for council to take action tonight so that we have yet another tool to add to our enforcement bag of things that we can do to try to drive out these types of illegal activities in the city of Milton.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I move to adopt ordinance 2121-25, adding chapter 5.10 to the Milton Municipal Code relating to massage practitioners.
Second.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Strader to adopt ordinance 2121-25, adding chapter 5.10 to the Milton Municipal Code relating to massage practitioners. Mayor Pro Tem, did you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, please. Sorry. So obviously this problem is bad enough to be able to bring up this ordinance. How widespread is it?
We are aware of certain businesses that we think are not operating completely lawfully. And so again, we have tried to figure out how we can best take out enforcement action against these facilities. And so the current code that you have before you that we're asking for action allows us to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I read through it and the whole time I was saying, yeah.
Councilmember Strader, do you want to speak to your second?
You said you talked to Lakewood and who else?
Fife?
Fife? Oh, okay.
Because
they have a prominent problem as well.
Yeah, they did a long time ago, they did a cleanup down there, and I think it kind of did some displacement. And so, like some of the other illicit activities that go on, they look for jurisdictions that maybe have loose regulation or no regulation because it hasn't been a problem, then it becomes a problem. So consequently, tonight, we're trying to enact some new legislation.
I think this is great legislative language, that we need this and more if we can, so.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, it is an action item. Are there any comments from the audience? Okay. It has been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Strader to adopt ordinance 2121-25, adding chapter 5.10 to the Milton Municipal Code relating to massage practitioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 6-0. Moving on to council reports. Councilmember Whalen.
Nothing to go add. Thank you.
Councilmember Hall.
I imagine other people are going to say this, but Milton Days was, in my view, a total success. I've heard nothing but good feedback, other than they miss the petting zoo. So, thank you for that. Again, we're having more of these come out, different vendor. And I have a no soliciting sign, and I answered the door. I work from home, so it's an inconvenience to have my doorbell ringing during the day behind a locked gate on top of it all. But he went through it. And I said, hey, I've got a no soliciting sign. He goes, well, I'm here now. I said, I'm sorry, I have a no soliciting sign. I said, do you have a license, a City Mountain license? And then he jumped off the porch and ran away. So if people don't know to ask those questions, it can be very intimidating. And they're trying to make a lot, you know, they're working toward their business. So you always want to support them, but on the other hand, it has to be done within our code. And older people shouldn't be inundated with this kind of stuff that seems to be going on more and more. So I would appreciate if you look at that. I also would like Mrs. Johnson said, more visibility on our codes to the citizens. Maybe it's part of our news, or just give general feedback on certain codes that are prevalent right now. So to me, that would be very helpful. I spend a lot of time talking to people, so it's amazing what people don't know or know how to find it also. So
Okay.
thank you for the hard work.
Okay. Councilmember Whalen?
Just to add to that, why do we not have a code that says that's littering and you'll be fined? If they're throwing garbage on my property, in my driveway or my sidewalk, right away, that's littering. It's not authorized. We don't support that. And why not just put a small, gentle code note that that's littering, and when it's brought to the city's attention, you file against it. That will stop a lot. It's not going to stop all. But why don't we add that to our codes?
Okay. I don't have our code memorized, but I will look into that and bring it back if it's something we can do. Councilmember Hall?
One more thing. The temporary signs going up, they're being posted on, they're not election signs, but they're business signs. They're on telephone poles. They've been up on Milton Way for a while. There's election signs that are down. I don't think they realize they're down. So all those election signs need to be taken up, picked up as well.
Yeah, we have our crews not touch election signs for obvious reasons, but the other ones, we generally do a drive-through and pull them, and then we contact the businesses and let them know that they can come get their signs, that we don't allow them if they're not in compliance.
These are election signs that, where they're not going forward.
Okay,
It should be taken down. It should be.
okay. If you want to either email me or talk to me after about specific candidates, we can let them know. But again, we don't have staff touch political signs at all unless they're a clear violation of, like, in a roundabout or because we've had issues in the past. So if you just let me know who and where, I can reach out to them myself. Councilmember Whalen?
Election signs. There is in code, and we've passed that, and I thought it was unanimous within
Yes.
the council, for height. And it's been brought to the city's attention, and the city has taken no action.
I'm going to disagree with you, Councilmember Whalen.
I can show you what hasn't taken place and where it hasn't taken place, and you can't deny that it is against the code.
Okay,
Yes, thank you, but I don't need it here anymore.
okay. And are you done with your comments for the evening?
I'm sorry?
Are you done with your I mean, I want to go to Councilmember Strader, but if you have more to say, now's your time.
I'm sorry. I'm having a little hard time with the audio and so forth. Please explain that one more time.
I'd like to move on to Councilmember Strader for his turn, but you keep asking questions after Councilmember Hall. I want to make sure that you are done with your questions before I move on to Councilmember Strader, is what I'm asking.
Yes, but
Okay.
I may have questions later.
Okay. We'll hold those till the end then. Councilmember Strader.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Cedar.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a couple things. I was at the exit conference from the Washington State Auditor a few weeks ago. I appreciate being there. I was surprised to not see anyone else. We didn't pass that audit, and I think it's important for people to realize that. But I think the city's doing great stuff to fix the small, minor issues. But I just encourage folks to take advantage of those. It's a good chance to ask questions at the state level, which I think is important because we do have state obligations, especially with a change of administration. These are going to be very important issues that we don't get forgiveness on just because it's a new administration. I also had the opportunity on August 20th to attend the Pierce Transit World Cup Summit in Tacoma, which was, I don't know how broad those invitations are, but there was a ton of people from Pierce County and from the broader Puget Sound region. The World Cup is coming to Seattle next year, and it's expected to bring nearly $1 billion in revenue, which means there's going to be about $100 million in sales tax revenue, which everyone, there's no way we won't benefit. We are going to benefit. Milton has an interesting location, and I talked to some of the World Cup kind of planning folks about it. We actually, even though it seems like we're not in either of those places, Tacoma being like a fan zone and Seattle being the location, we have 3 routes that run through us. There's going to be demand on short-term rentals if they exist in Milton, on our businesses. Traffic, I'm sure, will increase. There's going to be an impact here. It's too many people for us to not be impacted, and it would be worthwhile to at least chat with someone, at Pierce Transit about how we may be able to leverage some of that into commercial growth. So,
Okay.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing that. Councilmember White.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Yes, I do, and you know what tomorrow is? If you go to school in the Fife School District, school starts tomorrow. So for the next 9 months, when you're driving in the morning and you're driving in the afternoon, I want everybody to be aware that the kids are either going to school or coming home from school, and drive safely and be aware of the kids, because when you were a kid, people were being careful for you too, so return the favor.
Okay, thank you. Director Madden.
No comments.
Okay. Interim Director Robeck.
No comments.
Chief Hernandez.
Just a quick update, red lights, we should have the permission back from the Administrative Courts any day, so we're just waiting for that. We have checked every box that there is and gone backwards and forwards. Officer Wilcox, who was injured, has his follow-up appointment. He's been going through physical therapy. He's responding very well, but he still will probably be light duty for at least 2 to 3 months. As you know, I sent out an email. We did have a drive-by shooting. It was a very dangerous situation. We've got video, luckily. The individual was taken into custody. He was found hiding a short time later in the backyard of someone. And so we were able to take him into custody, but we hadn't recovered the gun at that point. And we, through the diligence of 2 officers who searched and went through briar patches and everything to find that gun, we did get the gun. And as you know, the individual was booked in with unlawful possession of firearms in the first degree, possession of a stolen firearm, possession of stolen property, reckless endangerment, and a residential burglary that occurred in Bonnie Lake. And we were able to recover the property. It was a very dangerous situation. It was right there at the corner of 10th, or not 10th, 11th, and Spirit Gas Station. And it's just by the grace of God that we didn't have an officer killed, because he was waiting to shoot at somebody, and he did shoot at a vehicle, but we were glad to get him into custody. And out of that, 2 officers got accommodations and accolades for Fife and Edgewood for backing us up, what I call a fast back, because it was priority call, because at the time we still thought that he was armed. And So he was taken into custody. So those officers received bravery commendations and then 2 commendations for the officers that found the firearm. And then we also had 2 officers that performed medical CPR up at Safeway for a drug overdose. The individual was unconscious. The officers took them out and began CPR. One of the other officers grabbed his medical bag, gave 2 doses of Narcan. When fire arrived, the male was still unconscious with no pulse, and fire took over rendering aid, and they were able to bring the individual back to consciousness. So both those officers will end up receiving life-saving medals. And then one notable, other than saving a life, is obviously very notable, but this will be Officer Kling's 2nd life-saving award in like the last month, where she has performed life-saving CPR and saved a person's life. So again, we have a A+ team that's doing outstanding work, and I can't say enough. And I hope that when you see those officers, you will praise them, wave at them, shake their hands, thank them for being in the city of Milton, with the understanding that these officers have chosen to work here because they like the city of Milton, they like the reputation. And the last officers that we got in, the last 4, it's all been through reputation. And so we're filled right now. Other than that, I will be asking for another position to go along with the red light program and traffic enforcement officer. So that will hopefully come to you in the new budget. Other than that, you see these guys and girls, you thank them, because I'll tell you, they're doing one hell of a job.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? We're good?
That's it for now.
Okay. I just want to thank everyone who worked and volunteered and participated and attended Milton Days. We had a lot of positive feedback about the move to the lower field. The musicians all loved the size, the shape, everything about our stage. I only had a few negative comments, but that was due to the dumping of the rain the night before. So our public works crew was amazing and stepped in and fixed those issues. So we'll look at those for the future. And then if you weren't there in the evening time, we did recognize Tom Boyle for his dedication to Milton Days. He has been our MC the 8 years I've been in office, minus the one we didn't have, and then before that as well. And so he did miss 1 year, and you could feel the lack of his presence. And so he is an asset to our community, and then just serving as our MC is wonderful. So that's all I have. Is there anything else before we adjourn? Okay. Seeing that all items have been concluded, I will adjourn this meeting at